Oh, how's it going today? So more toys from the boxes of junk here. This is a little Zenith. This is a Royal. Everything of Zenith was a Royal something. So this is Royal 755 Deluxe. There's a number of different versions of this, and there's probably a number of different versions of the case. This is. Well, this actually might be leather. Yeah, it says, well, top grain cowhide, aka leather. And it's kind of a, well, it was kind of a green back then. And this is a little transistor set. It's kind of a little lunchbox radio. It's probably made in the 60s. Maybe a little later. Maybe the 70s, early 70s. Just basic, on-off volume station. The ever coveted tone control. And there's actually a external 9-volt charger jack there, or power jack actually. Basically this is a radio in a big cardboard box, or kind of a masonite box. You look at all this. This is literally just a masonite box with leather over it. And the face is cut out, and they shove the radio in. This is probably 9 or 10 transistors. It's actually a somewhat sophisticated set. About this time, in the scheme of things, there were probably lots of Japanese transistor radios sneaking in, but you had to maybe do a little something to keep them at bay, and make it a little bit bigger set that wasn't a pocket radio was probably appropriate. And this is something you could took to the beach, job site, had down your shot, just ran on. Looks like it just ran on. So we can get it out. Looks like it ran on C cells. And actually, there's kind of a cylinder here. This might be a bit of a pickle. Maybe not. Basically, this is a big plastic cap. And there's a couple little springs there that hold it shut. Let's see if we can pop that without a fight. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, that's amazing. Those cells are pretty old. There's some Rayovacs. Yeah, well, it's down there with that tube from the other day. So, oh, that one's starting to get a little bit corroded. And there's no such thing as a leak-proof battery, and these are just basic carbon cells. These are probably about the cheapest thing you could get your hands on. It always puzzles me. This was kind of interesting too. These cells, when you purchased them, had a little. There was a green piece of paper that covered the cell, and then you had to rip that off to kind of start using it. It didn't activate it, it just let it make contact. So a set like this probably could have ran quite a few hours on sub-C, with a low current. A lot of these transistor sets don't draw hardly any current. If they draw 35 mils, just sitting there playing at a normal volume, it's a miracle. They're really pretty efficient. That's kind of interesting. It almost looks factory. There's a little cap there, but there's two kind of sheet metal screws they drove in there. I was just gonna try and see if we could fire this up. We'll have to cheat a little bit here. I don't have any C batteries. The last C batteries I bought rotted in about a week. They were crappy ones from the dollar store. Well, let's see what we got here. see if we can just cheat. Actually, you can cheat. No problem. I didn't think about that. You know, since this is technically a 9-volt. Oh, that's interesting. So this battery pack has kind of a keyed area right here, and that's what keeps this in kind of in sync. So it looks like this over here at the key on this side is the positive. Important. Insert batteries into compartment as illustrated. So they're going down this way. Okay, so this is positive. That's the idea anyway. This is negative. I don't know how well these sets take to get in reverse polarized. Probably not too well. So we'll just turn it on and adjust a few controls and see what happens here.
The Lions would have had no chance to win. Jordan addresses these signs. Say no thanks. Well, you have the
okay.
bank for your business.
So that's really all there is to that. Now this set does have a number of electrolytic caps. Well, I guess that's another set I was thinking of. It looks like there's 5 or 6 in there. And it looks like the circuit board just kind of sits in there with some screws on some brackets. This is definitely none too high tech. That's kind of interesting too. I don't know if you can see that or not. Probably not. The cutout for that is actually not as wide as the whole radio's electronics. There's a little area here that the variable cap had to slip behind. It's got kind of a dial string, slide rule type tuning, so it tucks up under there, but it works. These are actually pretty nice little sets. They have decent sound, they have decent sensitivity to them. I suppose I could get out my current meter and see how much current the thing really draws. Amazingly enough, it doesn't look like this one's had corroded batteries lay in it for months. That's kind of the death knell of old transistor radios. Kind of the death knell of old tube radios is neglect and dried up electrolytic caps, and kind of the enemy of transistor radios is neglect and 10,000-year-old batteries laying around and corroding the containers out of them. One of the things that can be bad about these sets is these containers. They're 40 years old easy, and these they can get real brittle. It can be a bit of a boggle, but it's fun to look at. And it's got kind of the leather as a hinge here, and I don't know, it's stitched together. I assume this was made here in the States. Like I said, the Japanese radios are starting to creep in. Yeah, there's a number of these. There's a number of different manufacturers made these small little kind of, I call them lunchbox radios. It's about the size of maybe a child's lunchbox. Be a damn small lunch for an adult. Maybe not a hungry adult. So there you go. There's the little Zenith, the 755 Deluxe, with all its very complicated controls, volume, on, off, and tuning, and I never did play with the tone. So anyway, we'll dig some more things out and play with them later. Take it easy.